of the county champion, and that our women's team continues to grow into one of the most formidable sides in the country. Across both men and women's cricket, we must be ambitious and we must be bold. What excites me most is what lies ahead. The next generation carrying the red rose with the same pride as those before them. The future is ours to shape together. Lancashire will always hold a special place in my heart. We are the red rose together.
Scored over 12,000 runs for the club and was a vital contributor to Lancashire's magnificent one-day successes during the course of the 70s, winning 2 one-day league titles in 1969 and 1970, 4 Gillette Cups between 1970 and 1975, and perhaps one of his most iconic moments, that 126 which he scored against Warwickshire in the 1972 final at Lord's. So lovely to hear from Sir Clive, now officially Lancashire's president. We're about 7 minutes away from the start of Lancashire Thunder against Somerset in the T20 Vitality Blast, live on Lancs TV and the BBC Sport website and app, and Phoebe Graham is alongside me. Good afternoon, Phoebes.
Good afternoon, Scott. Another sunny day in Manchester. What an exciting day for another game of cricket.
Yes, it is, and hopefully a kind of a winning afternoon for Thunder, just not quite got themselves going yet. Albeit they've not been kind of heavily beaten in their first 2 games. They've kind of been competitive, haven't they? But just can't quite seem to get over the mark.
They can't, no, and they've played against the 2 top teams in the league, the 2 favourites, Surrey and Blaze, who've had brilliant 50-over cup runs, and I think the weight of the losses have been heavier because they only won 2 out of the 8 games in the Metro Bank Cup. So they've been narrow defeats, but I think the weight of that feels heavier because of the start of the season they've had so far.
The Thunder team then, and there are a few changes here, including a debutant, a 16-year-old debutant. Goodness me. Let me run through the full side. So Eve Jones and Meg Lanning. Lanning's going to open the batting.
Love that. Best opener in world cricket, now opening the batting for Lancashire. Great change.
With Darcy Carter away with Scotland, albeit Elsa Lister's still with Thunder. I think this might be her last game.
It is, yeah. So Elsa Lister is fully contracted with Lancashire, so I think they have a little bit more control over her than Darcy Carter. So that's how they've managed to wiggle 1 extra game out of Elsa Lister, who was brilliant in that partnership with Meg Lanning against Blaze on Monday.
So Eve Jones, Meg Lanning and Danny Collins, Grace Johnson, Ellie Threlkeld, Elsa Lister, Fee Morris, Kate Cross, Grace Potts, Hannah Jones and Venus Wirapuli, who is 16 years of age.
She is an incredible talent, and I think it's probably given the energy that the team needs by bringing her in on debut today. They need a shake-up in the lineup, and I'm sat here so excited to watch her play today, so I don't know how she's feeling. I saw her dad on the side earlier and felt really emotional speaking to him because she's actually a Yorkshire girl. She plays at Esholt, her junior cricket. Her dad works at Bradford Grammar School, but she's travelled over the M62 day in, day out since a junior to play for Lancashire because of how brilliant the setup is. And she's taken hundreds, and I mean hundreds, Scott, of wickets in junior cricket, in academy cricket. I think last year in club and academy she took over 120 wickets. And it's been, when does she break through into the first team? She was exposed last year and played some second team games and probably wasn't quite quick enough as a spinner, and it was a little bit exposing and just what she needed at the right time. So she's been managed well by the Lancashire setup. I think it's the perfect time to bring her in debut, and exactly what the team needs to bring energy. And if they can't get excited for her today and bring energy, I don't know when you will.
Well, many congratulations to Venus Wirapulu and all her family, who have obviously played a massive part in this, in her story, to playing in professional cricket. Will not be a surprise to hear that she is Lancashire Thunder's youngest player in the professional era at the age of 16 years and 206 days, and her father's played some first-class cricket in Sri Lanka, so there's a real kind of cricketing pedigree there.
Yeah, there is, and she's a leg spinner as well, so
nice.
Turns the ball beautifully, and some player, and like come from a cricketing family as well. So honestly, Scott, I'm buzzing today. And I hope that energy transmits through the dressing room for the girls, and they come out today and put on a performance against Somerset.
And I guess we're waiting for the arrival of the players. We have the Guard of Honour again to some local school kids with the Lancashire Thunder flags, waiting for the arrival of the players. But I mean, I guess all eyes on when does Ellie use her? How quickly can she get a debutant into the action? Because there's bound to be a few butterflies there, and she won't want to, I guess, delay it for too long.
Yeah, I think she will get her into the attack early, but definitely not within the power play. I think they'll use Grace Potts, Kate Cross, Hannah Jones in the power play, but as soon as they come out the power play, I'd love to see Venus being bowled in that first 10 overs, because like you say, sometimes it's just getting ball in hand and getting into the action early.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to. Well, you've been there, Phoebe. You've made a professional debut. You must want to get, as a bowler as well, you must want to kind of get the ball in hand as quick as you can, get the nerves out the way, and just get your first ball.
As soon as you've bowled a ball, you feel like you're in the game as a bowler. It must feel differently as a batter that doesn't bowl, but when you're out there and your job is to bowl, as soon as the ball is in hand, there's a different competitive edge that comes out. So yeah, I think really important that she gets ball in hand and bowls early, but she won't be the type of bowler yet that will bowl in the power play.
Players are heading out. Thunder are on their way. The two opening batters for Somerset heading out to the middle as well. Somerset have been a very solid start to this year's T20 Blast competition. They've played 3 and they've won 2. They beat Yorkshire in midweek. I watched quite a lot of that game. They played really well against Yorkshire. Look a strong side, Somerset.
Yeah, on paper they're probably not the strongest side in the league, but what they've done is they've been explosive with the top order, and without the likes of Dean, Gibson and Knight, players have stood up. So it's been really exciting to see. They've got a new head coach in Erin Osborne from New South Wales, and I think she's given them that freedom and that licence to play cricket effortlessly and with freedom. So it's been great to see. They've had a few changes. So Sophie Luff is top of the order. She's never batted at the top of the order in T20 cricket. That's proved very successful. She's scored a couple of half centuries off 30 odd balls. So it's been great to see them shine really as a team without their big stars, and it's the batting that is the strength. So I'm not surprised that Luff has chosen to bat and elected to bat by winning the toss. Yeah,
Bess Ogges and Sophie Luff to open the batting. They had a tie in their opening game against Hampshire on Friday last week, and then they've beaten Warwickshire at Edgbaston on the Sunday, and then the victory against Yorkshire in Taunton in midweek. Here we go. It will be Kate Cross to get us underway. What's going on here, Kate? What are you doing?
I love the crowd getting behind her. She pulled out of that and there's a big ooh, what's going on?
There's a slip in place. Take 2 for Kate Cross. She's in and bowling the first delivery of the match, and that's a cutaway out towards deep backward point for a single. So a tie to get Somerset's competition underway, and then 2 victories against Warwickshire and Yorkshire. Love a tie. Love a T20 tie.
Yeah, we're seeing more ties than ever before, it feels like. I think because you create a tempo to chase at the run rate required, you end up needing 5 off the last over or 6 off the last over if you're not careful, which is why they come about so much.
Luff's on strike, crossing and balls, goes back on the cross and drops it away into the offside and through for a single. These two sides tied in Taunton last season in this competition, so there's a bit of history with tied T20 matches between these two sides as well. Not that I'm advocating this game's tied, Thunder want to win, but,
It's always a good game of cricket though, isn't it, if it's a tie? It means it's nail-biting stuff, so...
We'll see. 2 without loss, we're in the first over. It's cross for Thunder from the Statham end, and up and over extra cover by Odgers, just enough on that to clear the infield. Out towards the boundary for a single. Score moves on to 3 without loss. It is a cloudy day, but it's pleasant. It's nice and warm still, but not quite as kind of bright and blue that we had on Monday with the hot sunshine as well, but nice enough for some cricket. The crowd just starting to fill up as well, which is great to see. Here's cross back in, balls once more, and Luff will deflect that out towards the leg side for a single. Moves on to 2, 4 without loss.
Luff is so good at getting off strike. She's 2 from 2 and just able to make good deliveries turn into singles. She's a really frustrating batter from that perspective, but both mid-wicket and extra are held quite far onto the ring. I'd like to see them a bit closer for Sophie Luff, who loves to run singles between the wickets.
Cross over the wicket and balls, and just going right across the stumps, just trying to scoop it down towards the boundary. For a second I thought it was going to roll back onto the stumps, but fortunately for Somerset it didn't.
Odgers is a young player for Somerset. She's broken through the last couple of years into their first team and plays with complete freedom and confidence, so not surprised that within the 4th ball of the game she's going to the scoop.
It's forced a fielding change too. There's now a short fine leg in place. Down the pitch, it's a terrific shot, carved away through the offside for 4. Blimey, that was timed to perfection, and Somerset move on to 8 without loss, and Odgers now moves to 6 with that shot, which was hammered away through the offside for 4. Good way to end the over for Somerset. 8 without loss, 1 over gone.
Yeah, Rebecca Odgers has scored some runs in this competition so far. She got 30 against Yorkshire, 57 against Hampshire, so going into this game with a lot of confidence. I went on loan to Somerset a couple of years ago, and Odgers was in the squad at that point but hadn't broken through into the first team, and she had an air of arrogance and confidence about her that I did like. She was talking me through, I gave her a lift, she was talking me through her runs at Exeter Uni, her runs at Devon, and how she wasn't breaking through. So it's actually really nice to see that transfer then onto the pitch and her to go on and score some good totals this year.
8 without loss. Here's Potts in and balls. That's hit back towards it by Luff, deflected off Potts' boot. Scamper through for a single. I forgot your loan spell at Somerset. Yeah,
had a couple of loan spells, Somerset and Warwickshire.
Warwickshire, yeah.
So yeah, it was just 2 weeks down in Somerset, and it was when they were the Western Storm.
Okay.
So I travelled between Somerset, Glamorgan and Gloucestershire.
Right.
And luckily there was a player that lived locally, so I got a few lifts because there was a lot of miles covered in those 2 weeks.
I bet. Potts in and balls, playing a miss by Odgers through to Threlkeld.
You can see already there. This is the wicket that the team played on Monday, and that kept very low, did that delivery. There was a little bit of pace about the wicket on Monday. A few skidded through, a few kept low, but that's interesting signs, and potentially why as well Luff elected to bat first today.
Well, there's plenty of spinning options on show. There's Potts balls again. Down the pitch comes Odgers. That's crunched away through extra cover. Again, there's a chase on here. A couple of Thunder fielders catching up with the ball. It is pushed back just too far past Lister, and able to run 3. The score moves on to 12 without loss. Odgers 9 and Luff on 3.
Well, Threlkeld immediately goes to get the lid. Odgers using her feet a lot. Luff likes to use her feet too, who'll be on strike now. But just to stop the players coming down the track and using the feet there, taking the slip out as well. So reacted quick here with Lancashire.
12 for no wicket, halfway through the second over. It's off the back foot and pushed away, beats point, and that'll run away. That will be 4. On towards the backward point boundary. And Luff moves on to 7. Somerset 16 without loss.
It's well played by Luff. Just able to play that off the back foot and guide it through point. Potentially should have been stopped really by Hannah Jones.
There's 4 fielders inside the circle on the offside, 3 on the leg side, and a couple of boundary riders. Chopped away by Luff out towards extra cover. There's no run. 16 for no wicket. We're in the second over of this T20 Blast fixture, live on Lancs TV and across BBC Sport website and app as well. Somerset batting first. And as Phoebe Gray mentioned, this is a pitch that was used on Monday, so it's already had quite a bit of cricket played on it. As Potts comes in to complete her first over of the day. It's run down towards third, just for a single. Luff keeps the strike as well. It's the end of the over, so Luff moves on to 8, 17 without loss, 2 overs gone here at Emirates Old Trafford.
It's really nice to see someone like Sophie Luff have a good start to the Vitality Blast campaign. She's scored 2 50s, one against Yorkshire, she was 57 off 35, and then when they beat Warwickshire, she was 58 off 33. So great to see a veteran of the game. I mean, she's only 33, but it feels like she's been playing forever. Sophie Luff doing well in this competition. She hasn't been picked up in the 100 over the past couple of years. I think her last 100 appearance was with London Spirit 2 or 3 years ago. So I think she's really putting a name in the hat for a wild card, and I love that from players like Sophie Luff with experience. She's worked really hard on a strike rate.
See some spin in the power play will be Hannah Jones, who's bowling to Luff, carefully defending that back to Jones. And there's no run. I mentioned players being away with various international squads. Well, Somerset are missing a couple of key players, aren't they, as well? This Luff comes down the pitch, just dug out, forced through mid-on. Up comes kick cross from the boundary.
That's where I'd love to see mid-wicket tighter for Luff. 9 from 8. She knows how to start an innings, and Lancashire are really letting her run between the wickets here.
Looks to sweep this. Appeal from Hannah Jones. It thuds into the pad. Not out. There's the outcome from the umpire. Captain Threlkell coming from behind the stumps, have a chat with the bowler. What's the outcome here? Well, cross is coming up from long on to mid on, and square leg drops back towards the boundary. Jones in and bowls. Down the pitch comes Odgers and strikes it cleanly, but on the bounce back to Jones, who fields off her own bowling. And there's no run. Another fielding change as well. Mid wicket comes out. There's now a short third, backward point, cover, extra cover, mid off. Lovely shot by Odgers down the ground. Caught that beautifully. 1 bounce and 4. Lovely straight drive by Odgers. Moves on to 13. The score's 22 without loss.
Well, this is the cricket that Somerset are playing at the moment. Threlkell changed the field. Cross came in from long on, so she's taken Jones on straight rather than square, and it's so good to see.
Jones bowls again, low full toss, which is clipped away to the leg side. Just run away beyond the edge of the fielding circle, and they can hustle back for a couple. That's good running. Odgers and Luff adding 2 to the total. 3 overs gone, 24 without loss. Odgers 15 and Luff on 9.
Even the running there was brilliant by Somerset. They managed to squeeze 2 out, and that's what they're doing at the moment. They're squeezing every bit of talent out of the players and the squad that they've got at the moment. Without Dean, Gibson, Knight, they don't look the same threatening team, but actually they're doing everything within the capability to put themselves in the best chance of winning games of cricket. And pushing Fee Morris there for 2 is a key example where you'd often see teams just run 1 and question that second. They went in, they turned quick, and they ran the second well.
And here as well, Phoebe, that is so important, isn't it? Running between the wickets anywhere, but a ground like Old Trafford, I think.
Well, looking at the boundary size today, it's not too dissimilar to a men's boundary size at Emirates Old Trafford. The boundary size square is massive.
Comes Grace Johnson, balls to Luff. That's tickled away down towards deep backward square leg, and again they come back for 2. Luff moves into double figures, onto 11, 26 without loss as we start the 4th over. Yes, it's a big hit, isn't it? Towards the square boundaries.
Well, that's normally the home advantage of Lancashire women and men, and why they have such a strong advantage at Emirates Old Trafford is they know how to cut the 1s to 2s on the boundary ropes as fielders, and they know how to run the 2s as batters. So for Somerset to start like this.
It's down the leg side by Johnson. Gets through Threlkel's gloves as well. It will be a wide, and they've run as well. The score moves on to 28 without loss as a result. A couple added to the scoreboard. Not just back on strike. 15 from 10 balls faced. Johnson for Thunder from the Anderson end. That's chipped in the air just beyond the reach of mid-wicket. Again, that'll be a couple for Somerset. They move on to 30 without loss. Hodges now on to 17.
We've seen Fee Morris take some spectacular catches this season, so you never think it's out of reach at that mid-wicket area, but just slightly too far to her left to attempt it. But Hodges still being super aggressive here. 17 off 11.
30 on the board, 2 balls into the 4th over. That's pulled out towards the leg side. Grace Potts on the square leg boundary field. Single for Hodges, moves on to 18, 31 without loss. Good start this now by Somerset in this power play.
And Love just manages to sneak singles everywhere. 11 from 9. She's not scored a boundary yet, but still keeps the strike rate high despite that.
Johnson bowls, it's just dropped away into the offside. Hodges fancied running. Luff wasn't so keen. There's a dot ball. Not been too many of those inside this power play.
Yeah, it's a great length from Grace Johnson. I think she's found it there. A length that's really difficult to play and was difficult to play on Monday. It's almost back of a length here at Old Trafford, potentially going cross seam with the ball.
Down the pitch comes Luff, had to readjust. I think Johnson saw her coming and she just paddles it off her hip down to fine leg for 1. Luff moves on to 12, 32 without loss. Somerset batting first. It's amazing how quickly you can put a side under pressure, can't you? You start well, you're 3 overs into a game, and the fielding side can be thinking, right, we're under the pump a little bit here already. Johnson bowls to Hodges, doesn't time the shot. Tries to whip it out towards the leg side, but gets some bat on that. Will be a single, and she's kept the strike as well. It's the end of the 4th over. 33 on the board for Somerset. Hodges on 19, Luff on 12.
Well, yeah, it feels like with bat in hand at the moment in T20 cricket, you've almost got a free ticket, because what teams are looking for are batters with high strike rates that can be explosive and really utilise the fact that there's only 2 fielders out on the boundary. So you can see how Hodges against Jones in the previous over, so now they've gone long on and deep mid-wicket, she'll be targeting that square leg boundary because that's a boundary option and a simple boundary option for her. You've not got as much space to protect in this first 6, and that's why it's so key that batters capitalise on it.
And the Jones in and bowls. Slog sweep from Hodges, gets it in between the 2 fielders at short fine and backward square leg. Rattle down towards the boundary for 4. 37 without loss. A boundary from the first ball of the 5th over, and again you're under pressure, aren't you?
Yeah, getting that boundary early in the over puts the bowler under the pump, so Hannah Jones will be feeling it here. And she's protecting the boundary straight, so she can't let her line veer like she did there. That was leg stump line, almost a free shot for Hodges, and she knows that sweep shot is her boundary option at the moment. 23
from 14, going again. Appeal for the LBW, and Hannah Jones does strike this time. And Bex Hodges has gone for 23. Thunder needed a breakthrough, and they've found one thanks to Hannah Jones. 37 for 1 in the 5th.
Well, brilliant bowling there from Hannah Jones. She came back from that last delivery so well, was super brave, still went full, held a line straight, and that was going to go on and clattle the stump. So good decision from the umpire. Odgers, though, impressive knock, 23 from 15, and has created some pressure in the power play here.
Yeah, bright and bubbly start, two opening batters. A welcome breakthrough for Thunder. Some skill and confidence, isn't it, for Hannah Jones to bowl in the power play as well, for the spinner to bowl in the power play. She bowled 2 overs here in this power play. It's been such a huge asset for Ellie Thelkard as captain, but to take pace off, even with the fielding restrictions in place.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you've got spinners that can bowl in the power play. We've seen it for England, like how effective Lindsay Smith has been, left armour, but never leaves the stumps, and that's something that Hannah Jones has as a skill. She never leaves the stumps. When she does veer off the stumps, it makes it easier for the batters in the power play, like we saw that from that sweep shot going down leg. But quite often, if the batters miss, Hannah Jones is going to hit.
Annika Leroyd is the new batter as Jones is in. It's off the back foot and pushed back beyond the Lancashire spinner. It comes Kate Cross to field. And off the mark straight away. 38 for 1, halfway through the 5th over. Jones for Thunder. Down comes Luff and meets it and works it to the leg side. Fielded by Lister. And there's no run, and Lister moving instantly from mid-wicket to short third.
Oh, I'd love her to just be in mid-wicket for that little bit longer. Sophie Luff loves playing the ball through there.
And it goes through there on that occasion from Luff. It's met on the full by Luff and just worked out through that area where Lister was fielding.
It's just taken all the pressure off her in that situation. Quite often with Sophie Luff, you even want 2 mid-wickets in. That's how much she loves playing the ball through there. I understand it from a defensive T20 perspective, but keep that pressure on her.
That one sneaks through. Terrific delivery from Jones. Too good for the Aussie batter. And Somerset lose their 2nd wicket. What a terrific 5th over of the game this has been for Lancashire Thunder. And an excellent one for Hannah Jones. 39 for 2 after 5. Some thoughts from Phoebe Graham on what has been actually a very good comeback in that over from Hannah Jones. And then Polly Starkey will come and join you.
Well, Hannah Jones has brought Lancashire back into the power play. Somerset were running away with the game, 37 before the first wicket fell. LBW of Odgers, and then cleaned up the overseas, which is a huge wicket. She's been in great form for Somerset in the 50 over competition and the T20. So 2 big wickets there. Somerset 39 for 2 after 5 overs. And after a power play that felt like it was going to be Somerset, it's right back in the mix. I'm joined again by Polly Starkey.
Hello, Phoebe. I was going to say, what a great start for Somerset, but things have turned a little bit, and that's all thanks to Hannah Jones. I think the wicket of Annika Leroyd was pretty crucial. From a Lancashire perspective, she's been in great form in this competition so far, as you mentioned, 2 half-centuries. So it's looking interesting now, and Lancashire will be pretty chuffed with that.
Well, it's crossing from the Anderson end and worked off her legs by Luff. She'll scamper for another single. She's so good running between the wickets, isn't she, Luff? How often have you seen her do this?
Oh, so many
in
times.
hand?
So many times. Sophie Luff is just one of those players who's always in the mix, always there, and I think she's been brilliant this season. And as you say about potentially a spot in the 100, I think what she's done now has been great.
Well, Niamh Holland, new batter on strike. She'll work that to mid-wicket. That's attacked in by Fee Morris, who always does a good job in mid-wicket for Lancashire Thunder. Enjoyed a few of her catches this year, haven't you, Polly?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a good start to the season, and I'm just so buzzing today. I think You were saying earlier about Venus making her debut. It's felt like a case of when rather than if.
Cross in and thick outside diving attempt from Venus at third. It was a great stop in the end. That was an opportunity from Holland. It was a thick outside edge. And Venus Wirapuli diving to her left. It'd have been a second touch of the game. It would have been an unbelievable one.
Yeah, it would have been a great catch, but good to see her involved in the game already.
Cross in, Luff advances down and clips that up and over mid-wicket. Some work for Johnson's to do in the deep, but she does cut it off. They'll look for three. But only run the two there. How big are the boundaries? Just explain that today, Polly.
I mean, Old Trafford is already quite a big ground, but the ropes are out pretty far. And so trying to clear the rope or even reach the rope is definitely a challenge.
Cross, ball in hand. And Luff tries to guide that through extra cover. It's a good piece of fielding by Lanning.
But I'm really hoping that with the big boundaries, it sees a lot of twos and maybe even a couple of threes as well, because, I mean, with someone like Sophie Luff, you're probably going to get that anyway, so fast between the wickets, but it provides that opportunity.
Cross in once again. Luff advances down and goes up and over mid-on. Just short of Potts there. Didn't quite get hold of that. Did Sophie Luff.
Yeah,
They
it went
came back
high.
for two.
It went high, but it just kind of plugged in the ground, and as you say, a bit short of Potts.
Well, Somerset 45 for 2 after the power play. It was a destructive start. After the first 4 overs, they were 37 for no loss, and then Hannah Jones came in and got the wicket of Odgers, got the wicket of Anika Learoyd, and really have brought Lancashire back into this game. So 45 for 2 after the 6.
Yeah, so crucial from Hannah Jones, who just always keeps it really simple. And she'll be coming back into the attack now. So far, 2 overs, 2 for 13 from the Brian Statham end. Of Niamh Holland on strike. Jones continuing here as Holland has a slash at it, but there will be no run.
Yeah, 3 on the bounce. You don't see that often in T20 cricket, but when you're on, you're on. So she's going again, is Jones.
Holland this time rocking back defensively. Yeah, when you've got a player like Hannah Jones who's just found a rhythm really nicely, you want to keep her on. She's taken those 2 wickets, been really effective instantly. Holland slashing down the ground straight back at Jones. 3 dots in a row now. Bit of a rarity in T20 cricket, and Hannah Jones is proving pretty important here.
She's a difficult bowler to play. As soon as you sweep, you're putting yourself in danger.
Holland going for the sweep this time. No run available.
The ball just skids on and gets quicker on you as a bowler. You almost want to play her like a slow seamer rather than a spinner, because as soon as you start sweeping Hannah Jones, you're in serious trouble. The amount of dismissals you'll see from Hannah Jones of players cross-batting rather than playing a straight.
4 dots in this over so far, and Niamh Holland this time sweeps successfully. Deep square, and we'll run through for 1.
It feels like it's the year of the left armers, though.
Yeah.
Particularly within the England setup,
Yeah.
their T20 squad. Lindsay Smith, Sophie Eccleston, Tilly Coulteen-Coleman, Hannah Jones, a proven success here at Lancashire.
Jones in again, this one nudged into the leg side, and they'll run through for a quick single. Jones fields off her own bowling. Yeah, and within that England team, you've got 3 very different left-arm spinners as well, and it does feel like there are a lot of left-arm spinners coming through the ranks as well. You had Sophia Smale, who's now at Essex, who came through Western Storm, who was very effective in her first couple of years on the circuit, and yeah, they're popping up everywhere. So
well, I think we're going to see our debutante.
Oh, this is going to be brilliant.
The James Anderson end. Venus Wirapuli will be making her Lancashire debut. A really special moment for her, her family. 16-year-old, the youngest player to debut for Lancashire women. And you can hear the crowd. They've rippled. They've got behind her. Threlkeld done well here. They've got her in the game early. And she's certainly earned her spot here as Venus. She played a lot of academy cricket, a lot of second team cricket, and my gosh, has this girl taken wickets. Leg spinner, just changing the field here. Her first bowl will be to Somerset legend Sophie Luff. She spins the ball from arm to arm. She's got a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square and cover. In, and Luff sweeps that out to the boundary, and it goes behind square for 4. If a nervous delivery first up, Polly.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to professional cricket. You've got a bowl to Sophie Luff, who's one of the greats, and that's kind of the reality of the step up. I love the way she spins the ball in her hand at the top of her run. It feels a little bit intimidating. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, it's great to get that first ball out the way. I imagine a lot of nerves and a lot of anticipation leading up to this moment.
Well, spins the ball from arm to arm. A lovely rotational movement. She comes into the crease to Luff. Luff works out from the back foot into the covers. Collins, one bounce, throws that into Threlkeld.
I think also having your debut at Emirates Old Trafford is quite a big thing. It's a very, very big ground, as we've said, and there's a decent crowd in as well.
Wirapuli to Holland. Holland bat high. She pulls that to mid-wicket for no run. She gets quite a lot of flight on the ball, does Venus, spinning the ball away from the right-hander. We haven't seen many leg spinners in the women's game breakthrough. Obviously there's Katie Levick, super successful and had a brilliant domestic career. It's Venus in, and that's swept high. It's out in the deep. Morris running in, and it's taken! Venus's first wicket for Lancashire Thunder. Big celebrations. And everyone is absolutely buzzing for it, including myself. And that's another breakthrough wicket. 52 for 3, Somerset.
Look at that smile. That is just such a special moment for Venus Wirapuli, who is the youngest Lancashire player in the professional era. So special. And slight stumble as the catch is taken, but importantly the catch was taken and Niamh Holland departs.
Well, the boundaries are so big square here, and I think it's a huge advantage for Venus because players will take her on with the sweep shot, and Fee Morris, who has worked with her in the academy and presented a cap today, runs and gives her the celebration. We're just watching back the footage here, and when I was talking about that energy from the team, like, you won't see a celebration like that for a while, spinning from hand to hand. Venus in and worked into mid-wicket for a single. Somerset 52 for 3. Well, she'll be pleased with this debut over so far. First ball went for 4. You could sense there was a little bit of nerves. The ball was drifting down leg side, but flights it up, gets spin, and Holland took on the big boundary square, and Morris did well running in, taking that catch. So final ball of the over. In and worked down the pitch by Luff to long on, and that will be Venus Wirapuli's debut for Lancashire. Her opening over, 1 wicket for 7 runs. Big high fives, the whole team is coming up to her, giving her that celebration. And what a start for the 16-year-old.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad everyone just going over to her, giving her a high five. I mean, 16 years old, making your debut at such a big ground, and probably quite a bit of pressure on her, not from the team, but probably, you know, herself. And I guess the expectation of this big moment is also, from a Lancashire perspective, I suppose something that's been kind of coming for a while, and thinking, when is this player gonna be ready to break through to the senior team? And yeah, a brilliant first over to have the boundary first ball, and to be able to move on past that and get the wicket, I think is fantastic.
And I think the conditions suit her today. It's a used pitch, it's big boundary square, so she is a little bit slower. She still needs to generate a little bit more pace from her action, but with that gives the catching opportunity.
Grace Potts returns from the Brian Statham end, starts with a dot, defended by Sophie Luff, who's on 25 from 22. The score 54 for 3 in the 9th over.
But yeah, I loved how the crowd got behind that as
Yeah.
well. It was a lovely moment.
Potts running in past the umpire, and it's been slashed away by Sophie Luff. Will just be 1.
Potts has had a good year with ball in hand, been very consistent, often been the unsung hero with ball in hand. Probably hasn't taken as many wickets as she'd have liked, but has stayed very contained. You can see she's just banging a length now out of the power play. She's got fielders all behind the bat, so back 4, cover, square, fine and third.
Katie Jones on strike, who protects a wicket defensively. No run available. Yeah, Grace Potts had a difficult job on Monday, bowling at the death against the Blaze, who ultimately won the game. Katie Jones just looking around at her options as Potts is in once again, and that's nudged away. Trickles all the way to the boundary, pretty straight in the end.
Yeah, she plays that well, does Jones. Bowls a really nice hard length, does Potts. And Jones just guides that down to third, make sure it's super fine, as third is really wide. And it's a great boundary option really from Jones. The wicket keeper bat.
Jones now on 5 from 3, as she'll scamper through for 1 here.
Well, again, learning from the skipper how to manipulate a good ball and turn it into 1. She just dropped her hands on that. They went early, and with point sort of hugging the ring, it's a great way just to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Bring third up with Luff on strike, so there's a mid-wicket out in the deep, square behind, fine and cover.
Luff rocks back and punches that through the gap. It's racing towards the boundary. 3 fielders in pursuit and will be stopped in the end. A bit of team fielding. And the over will wrap up 62 for 3 after 9 overs.
Well, it looks like it's back to Wirapuli. She'll be bowling a second over here. Somerset 62 for 3. They've broken through some of the batters that have been really successful for them this T20 campaign, so it'll be interesting to see how Somerset stand up in the middle and later order, because that's the depth that win your game of cricket. So far, what's won them the games of cricket has been their top order. So Wirapuli bowls a second, spins the ball from arm to arm. It's a lovely motion. It's almost like a bike chain, isn't it? Just going round and round. She's into Jones, and that chips up and over Wirapuli. Put some doubt in Katie Jones' mind there, whether to go forward or back, and just chipped it up and over the umpire.
Yeah, I felt a little bit more controlled.
Wirapuli putting some doubt into the batter's mind with Luff on strike, who goes down and goes up and over long off, and it'll race away to the boundary. That's well played by Luff. She has a good chat with Jones on how to play Venus.
Yeah, it was a good shot, and that's kind of the frustration of being a leg spinner. You are susceptible to being whacked around a little bit.
Well, I think with that, the ball spinning away from Luff, you could bring square in and long off out. She's stronger down the ground than she is sweeping, so really challenge Luff here and get bowling at Jones. Wirapuli in and Luff down again, and goes down the ground to long on for a single. So Venus Wirapuli was working with Alana King last year when Kingy was with Lancashire. It was amazing to watch the two of them training together as she's in, and Jones goes down. Venus full stretch dive, but it just beat the bowler. Mid-on goes round and does the work.
Well, if there is any leg spinner you want to learn from, it is Alana King, and what an opportunity for Venus to just kind of get all that knowledge from Alana and what she's been able to do in her career so far.
She once again spins the ball arm to arm in that lovely circular movement, and Luff is down. She'll go up and over, long off again for a 4. At this point, Threlkeld will have a chat with Wirapuli. I think need to look at Luff's strongest shots here, which is down the ground, up and over extra. That is her bread and butter, and I think she'll take Venus on all day if they allow her to.
Yeah, Luff has played 2 identical shots, and you just want to get rid of that option and that possibility.
I don't think I've ever seen a sweep, or if I have, it's a plan Z. So I'd love to see that square leg fielder up in the boundary for Luff. Wirapuli spins the ball arm to arm, and Luff comes down again, and she'll work that to long on for a single. I think when she was working with Alana King, it looks like they bowled ball short there. We did this last game as well. Or have we bowled this full 6? No, we have. That'll be the end of the 10th over. Somerset 74 for 3. Another good over by Wirapuli. And you saw how good a person Alana King was. She gave Venus all the time in the world, and it was so good to see an international player with that many caps for Australia, just how caring she is and how much she wants to develop younger players.
Yeah, it's so good to hear, especially when you've got your overseas players coming in. You know, they don't have an impact on just that season, but it's also the wider players they connect with. And yeah, seeing Venus's debut today, you know, some of that is stuff she's learnt from Alana King and the input that's happened there. As Grace Johnson, coming from the Brian Statham end, and that slap down the ground beats the diving fielder, and will go for 4.
Again, Sophie Luff is 38 from 28. Her strengths are down the ground, particularly long on, yet mid-on is in the ring. Not sure this is smart cricket from Lancashire.
Johnson in again, and that's defended for no run. 78 for 3. Grace Johnson just returning from a stress fracture, back injury.
Yeah, it's so good to see her back. She had a brutal winter of recovery, training, so it's nice to see her playing on the pitch now.
Sophie Luff has a big swing and will be stumped by Ellie Threlkeld. Grace Johnson getting the crucial wicket of Sophie Luff, who has to depart for 42. She was pretty menacing, 42 from 30, and was really targeting the Lancashire bowlers. Really important work from Grace Johnson.
That's a huge wicket for Lancashire. 78 for 4. And Luff plays one shot too many. Came down the track. And it just got a bit big on her, did it? Did Luff? Johnson went wider. It was a good delivery as she saw Luff coming down the track. A simple piece of work from Threlkeld with the gloves.
Yeah, not every day you see stumpings from seamers, but important for Lancashire as Sophie Luff just was playing with such ease and looks very destructive. So 78 for 4.
You don't often see Sophie Luff blazingly shots either.
No.
She's not the type of player that gives the wicket away, but it really felt like she did then. But big wicket for Lancashire. 78 for 4. Somerset.
Brings in Alex Griffiths. He will be on strike. Starts with a dot, wrap on the pads.
Alice Griffiths, handy all-rounder. Played for Somerset for a number of years. Played for the Welsh Fire, I think, in the 100. And sort of that batter that does come in and hit a big ball. Bowls some handy overs as well in the middle.
Johnson in again and rocked off the back foot just for a single. Yeah, one of the only Welsh players for Welsh Fire, actually.
It's a great fact. There aren't many allegiances now in the 100, are there?
No.
Few Manchester players that are still going to play for the Manchester Supergiants, however.
Johnson in again and a little edge on that, and it's racing down to the fine leg boundary and will make it. And that will be 4. So not the way Johnson will have wanted to end the over, but did take the wicket off Sophie Luff. 83 for 4 after 11 overs.
Yeah, went for the Yorker there. It was just swaying down leg side. Jones just got enough on it to make sure it was fine, and much finer, a fine leg. Did race to the boundary for 4. Threlkeld will bring her 6th bowler into the attack here. Fee Morris, who bowled really nicely on Monday. Took 3 important wickets that got them back in the game against the Blaze. But wasn't quite enough for Lancashire to get over the line against the Blaze. So a victory here today will be super important. Morris, who took the catch of Venus Wirapuli's wicket on debut. She's into Griffiths, and Griffiths awkwardly strikes that down the ground for a single. Morris selected for Welsh Fire this year, so that's where she played in the 2nd year in the 100, is heading back to Cardiff. She's in. Jones goes down the ground. It's high. Potts is tracking back and doesn't take it. Keeps going, does the ball, and it'll trickle over the ropes for 4. Potts had more ground to cover than she thought there. sort of was tracking back, facing forward, but the ball just kept going. It's quite a windy day, so the wind kept taking it. Ends up doing a backward roly-poly as the ball creeps over the rope. Morris in again, and that's caught and bowled. It's a brilliant take from Morris, diving to her right. And another great wicket from Lancashire. Somerset 88 for 5.
Yeah, Morris will be pleased with that, to have the opportunity or half chance the previous ball, and then to be able to get the job done herself. Yeah, goes down really low. It's a lovely caught and bowled.
Yeah, she's such a good fielder, Fee, particularly off her own bowling. And if you're able to do that as a spinner and catch the ball come back off you, diving to your right, you create so many more opportunities, chances, stopping singles, stopping twos. So a frustrated Katie Jones departs. Fee Morris adds to her wicket tally this season.
88 for 5 at Somerset, so after their great start, things aren't looking so bright for them.
Shows you how quickly momentum changes, how important wickets are in the power play. That over from Hannah Jones has changed the game. That 5th over that got 2 wickets. Morris in again, and that's worked square of mid-wicket. Jones comes round to do the work. Yeah, it was a huge over from Jones, getting the wicket of Odgers and Leroyd. Didn't give Leroyd the chance to even enter the game, who's been so successful so far in this blast. Somerset 89 for 5. Morris in, and that's flicked off the legs by Griffiths for a single.
Jess Hazel, the new batter for Somerset.
Morris in, and Hazel works that back to the bowler, and that'll be the end of Morris's over. A good one it was. Catching opportunity that went for 4, and the wicket of Jones. Brilliant diving catch to her right. Fee Morris will finish her first over 1 for 7. Somerset 90 for 5.
Yeah, Somerset needing a decent partnership here to try and take them to a competitive total.
Looks like Kate Cross is coming into the mix. Just a reminder of these two teams. So Lancashire played 2, lost 2 against Surrey at the Oval. The Blaze here on Monday. Somerset, who however have had a brilliant start, tied the first game against Hampshire, then beat Warwickshire chasing, beat Yorkshire setting. The two teams with very different fortunes so far in this competition.
Yeah, convincing wins over Warwickshire and Yorkshire as well. So it's been a really good start for Somerset. They've been decent in the One Day Cup too. So a much better start to the season than the one they had last year. As Kate Cross returns, has been slapped down the ground, but we'll just find the fielder.
Cross gone for 14 off her first 2 overs. Felt an air of frustration from a final delivery that she threw into the keeper, Threlkeld.
Cross in again, and it's been nudged away to third by Jess Hazel.
I think I'd actually love to see a third out for Jess Hazel at this point. 91 for 5, new batter on strike, try and get a catch in the ring at mid-on. It's more likely to get a thick outside edge than drive you up and over mid-on.
Hazel working that to point for no run.
Saying that, I would love to see her just hit the ball straight down the ground now. Side screen stuff. Obviously into the hands of Grace Potts on the boundary. Kate Cross, who'll be joining us later today for the Lancashire-Leicester men's game.
Hazel working that into the leg side. Backward of square. We'll just take the one run to rotate the strike. 92 for 5, so two relatively new batters at the crease in Jess Hazel and Alex Griffiths.
Yeah, big job to be done here. 7.2 overs left. They've got themselves up to 92 off the first 12. The run rate isn't the problem. They're going at 7s. And I think Lancashire recognise that at the moment with the field that has been set.
Griffiths chips this one up in the air. It will fall just short of Hannah Jones.
Yeah, she deceived Griffiths there with the slower ball. She was set up to hit hard into the leg side and then pulled out the shot, and it was just short of Jones at short third.
It just popped up.
Love to have seen a diving effort there.
Cross in once again, and that's been pushed out to point. So we'll wrap up the over. 93 for 5 after 13, with Jess Hazel 2 from 6 and Alex Griffiths 5 from 6.
Yeah, and Venus Wirapuli back into the attack. The debutante bowled 2 overs, 1 for 19. First wicket on debut, caught in the deep by Fee Morris, Niamh Holland. I don't know if they'll have crossed academy cricket. Niamh Holland played in the England under-19s a couple of years ago. She's probably in her early 20s now, is Niamh. So that's old, isn't it, in a 16-year-old's eyes?
Yeah,
really
I think
old.
Niamh's 21, so what, like 5 years older?
Yeah, that's so old, actually. Rapuli in and worked off the back foot, straight to extra cover for no run. Field set is long off, long on, mid-wicket and square. Much prefer this field for Wirapuli. So much easier to watch the game from up here, though. The amount you see as a bird's eye view with no pressure playing as she's in, and that's a big appeal for LBW. Not given by the umpire. Might have pitched outside the line, but looked to have got a bit of turn there. Promising signs.
Yeah, I don't mind an appeal. I think this is good. It's good work from Venus.
Hazel on strike. Spins the ball arm to arm. Big rotational movement. She's in, and that's driven down the ground straight to long on for a single. She's able to control the game here with her lines, with the field set and the big boundaries as well. I think important to play Venus when the boundary sizes are bigger and you've got more control, because a lot of the shots have been aerial. Wirapuli in and driven down the ground, clubbed by Griffiths into the pocket, but they'll only run a single. The confidence in the batting has dropped off as well from Somerset. Even with the running there, that would have been 2 in the opening 4 overs when they kept coming at Lancashire.
Definitely, there's such a difference when Sophie Luff is at the crease, and her departure definitely makes a difference.
Flights that up to Hazel, and she comes down the wicket and has to get something on it. Does Hazel. It's an ugly piece of cricket, but if she hadn't, it'd have been a stumping from Threlkeld. So she does well in the end, does Hazel. So we're poorly in, and that's tempted sweep, but it does go down the leg side, so it'll be called a wide by the umpire. I think that's why she has got that square leg in place, because she does often drift her line down the leg side. That's her error ball. Spins the ball arm to arm. Griffiths bat high in the air. She works that off the back foot, but the spin deceives her, and she has to guide it to square. Brilliant over from Venus Wirapuli. 3 from it. She's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 24.
You could really see the batters trying to figure her out, and she definitely did prove challenging at times. It's just, of course, one of those things. Leg spin is so difficult, and already for younger players coming in, it takes time to build that consistency. And with leg spin, I feel like it's made a little bit harder as well.
Well, there isn't much in it in the UK domestic game. Katie Levick, who else?
Yeah, that's a good question for me.
Who
on the
else
spot.
is a leg spinner in women's domestic?
Yeah, in terms
cricket?
of someone who is consistent and constantly in the 11, Katie Levick is probably the main player that comes to mind. You've got Jodie Grucock, who will bowl a bit for Essex, but in terms of full-time leg spinners as well, that is pretty rare.
And I think we're seeing the emergence of left arm spin within the England team, within women's cricket, but haven't seen too many leg spinners come through. As Potts back into the attack.
Grace Potts returning, and will concede a run off her first ball. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Danielle Gregory down at Surrey. Josie Groves for the Blaze, but she again has been kind of in and out of the team as the 100 runs comes up for Somerset. 100 for 5. Hazel gonna get probably wrapped on the thigh pad there. Will run through for 1. Yeah, signalled leg by the umpire.
You've named more players than I'd have thought about there. That would have been a great pub quiz question. But yeah, there's 3 or 4 on the circuit, isn't there? But like you say, probably Danny Gregory and Katie Levitt, the 2 main leggies in the game.
Slashed into the leg side by Griffiths. It'll just be a single. You've got Millie Taylor, who's a left arm leg spinner at Warwickshire.
Yeah, that's
which
unusual,
is
isn't
very,
it?
very unusual.
I think that's unusual in world cricket.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just women's domestic UK
Yeah.
cricket.
Potts at the top of her mark. Coming in once again. It's been pushed out for Danny Collins to collect. 103 for 5.
Potts also plays with chewing gum. I've never really spoken to her about it, but I don't know how you bowl as a seamer with chewing gum in.
Potts in again. That's been hoiked in the air, and the catch should have been taken by Fee Morris. Fumbled and dropped.
We say it a lot, don't we? She did the hard work. She got herself set, got herself into position. Was even stationary when the ball came, and it just seemed to hit her palm and pop out. That's unusual for Morris to drop those into the in the deep. I think it came quite flat and hard as well,
Yeah.
didn't it? The trajectory of the ball was flatter, but one that she'd take 9 times out of 10.
Potts once again, and the ramp is on. Not the most successful, but we'll get a run. So 15 overs gone, 105 for 5.
Well, the run rate here is slowly declining. It's now at 7s. They went off at a flying start, did Somerset. But they're just pulling it back here in Lancashire. 105 for 5. And Venus Wirapuli will be bowling the final over of her spell. And she's all smiles. I think she's enjoying herself today on debut. It's been a great start, 1 for 24. It's quite therapeutic watching her spin the ball from arm to arm.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful circular motion. And Hazel's on strike, tapping baton floor. She advances down and it's slapped into mid-wicket for a single.
I've remembered two very obvious leg spinners, Hannah Baker and Sarah Glenn. And I can't believe I forgot both of those.
Sarah Glenn's more of a top spinner though, isn't
Yeah,
she?
that's
I
true.
don't know how she gets described. It's more of top spin rather than leg spin as Venus in, and it's inside edge into the ground. There's a bit of a mix up here, but it's thrown up and over Venus at the stumps. It looked like they were going for the single and then got turned back. Griffiths getting really stuck in a crease here against Wirapuli. Just having a bit of a pause and think to herself how to play this. Won't have come across Venus before in her playing career. She advances down and another thick edge that goes to third, causing her all sorts of problems here is Wirapuli. She'll take confidence from that. Griffiths likes to cross back the ball. I think you options here. You've got to go with the spin, they say. Obviously a very good batter myself, and that's what I try to do all the time with Venus in again, and it's the reverse, but beats the outside edge again. Nice bit of turn there from Wirapuli, and with that they'll stack the offside and leave mid-wicket open. Two deliveries left of Venus Wirapuli's spell. Into Hazel. Hazel advances down, has to wait for it, and pulls that down to long on for a single. Adjusts her line, or adjusts her length well. There does Wirapuli. Just drops it short as she sees Hazel coming down the track. Last ball for Griffiths to face from Venus Wirapuli. Off the back foot, she pulls that into the deep, and they'll look to come back for a second. They're in and out quick. It's a little bit of a mix-up, but the throw's poor, so they'll come back for the second, and that is the end of Venus Wirapuli's spell on debut. 4 overs, 1 for 29. There's a real ripple of applause here at Emirates Old Trafford, and it's a wonderful moment. The wicket celebration of Niamh Holland was just so brilliant.
It was such a great moment, and yeah, it's the start of what I imagine to be a very, very good career. She's someone that Lancashire have been watching over so closely from the perspective of when can she come into this senior team, and yeah, she's a fantastic player now, and I'm sure will be developing over the next couple of years with this Lancashire team as Grace Johnson's back into the attack and has been worked into the leg side. They're going to scamper through for 2 in the end. Good running from the Somerset pair.
Grace Johnson looking a bit confused there. She's just been called Grace Potts. poor Tannoy announcement.
Jess Hazel leans forward to try and make contact with the ball. Will be a dot.
I think Lancashire's danger here is they've looked in control of the whole innings with ball in hand once Jones had that 5th over with 2 wickets in, but the run rate's still above 6s. So can they finish this game keeping Somerset under 130 would be a big ask for Lancashire.
Johnson and Hazel goes to scoop. It will just go through to Threlkeld behind the stumps.
Because chasing anywhere in the 120s here will change the dynamic of the chase. So got to stay really disciplined in these final 4 overs.
Hazel comes down the track, flicks this into the leg side. Will just be 1 in the end. 113 for 5. Grace Johnson 1 for 21 so far, now in her 3rd over. Griffiths has a big swipe and just avoids the head of Jess Hazel at the non-striker's end. It will be 1.
Yeah, it was a great duck there, wasn't it, from Hazel?
Good reaction.
Almost flattened her.
Hazel 9 from 18. She goes to scoop it again. She's tried that shot a couple of times and it hasn't really paid off at all.
It's a great over from Johnson, just 4 from it. 3 overs remaining. I always think at this stage you think, okay, how many balls are left? 18, so as a batting unit you need to score at least 18, 20, 25 runs. So they'll be looking at that 130. Will Somerset 135. Then as a bowling team, how do you keep them under a run a ball? How do you make sure that they stay under 130, 125?
It'll be Hannah Jones to return, 2 for 15 so far from her 3 overs, got 1 over left.
Jones in, and big appeal for LB is given. She's having a great day out, is Hannah Jones. Wicket with the first ball. She's 3 for 15 off her 3. And Lancashire not letting this slip away, 114 for 6.
Talk about instant impact. Hannah Jones coming back into the attack and immediately gets the wicket of Alex Griffiths. She was so important within the power play. Those 2 wickets really changed the game.
Well, skiddy bowler Hannah Jones, as soon as you start sweeping, reverse sweeping, trying to go behind the bat, you're in trouble, and that's what's happened with Griffiths there. Look to reverse that. And it was very, very plumb. Chloe Skelton coming in at 8. She scored some runs for Somerset this year. She brought up a half century in the Metro One Day Cup. It's taken a lot of wickets throughout the season as Jones in again and worked off the back foot, and that makes it through the covers. Lister doing the work on the boundary, and she does a great piece of fielding to cut off the 4, but they'll come back for 3. It's good running by Somerset. Excellent out in the deep from Lister, and great support by Virapuli. Jones directing the field. Knows what she's doing this one. I called her the best number 11 in the country, and she's gone into Didsbury Cricket Club and all her teammates are like, here she is, best number 11 in the country. It's Jones in and works across to sweep. Does get hold of it, does Hazel. Well, I told her, well, I'm only helping with your campaign here. I want you at 10, I want you at 9. So anything that helps. Hopefully she won't be needed today. 118 for 6 Somerset, as Jones is short, and it's carved into the offside, into the deep for a single.
Yeah, promoted up the order today, number 10. So yeah, I mean, Lancashire will obviously not want to see her back today, hopefully. That would mean Lancashire probably in a bit of trouble.
Tries to work this behind, another appeal for LB, but I think she got something on it, did Hazel? It's only a half-hearted appeal from Threll Keldon-Jones. You can always tell the difference between the close ones. Worked to mid-off for no run, and that's a wonderful spell from Hannah Jones. 4 overs, 3 for 20, but those first 2 wickets were so impactful in the power play. Odgers and Luff had got off to a flying start, and in that 5th over, Jones went bang bang and really changed the fortune of the game. So a brilliant spell. 2 overs left, 120 for 6. And I think it'll be Potts in from the Statham end, and I would have thought Cross will finish off at the Anderson end.
Yeah, Grace Potts returning for her final over. So far 0 for 21 as Jess Hazel is on strike and slashes down the ground. We'll just find Kate Cross at mid-on.
Potts bowls that real hard length, and she's brought her fine leg up, and the Somerset batters have been trying to go to the scoop but without much success.
Skelton rocks back and punches that away for a single. 122 for 6.
She's been a key cog of their wheel, has Skelton, with ball and bat. Batting's come on so much over the last few years. And been given opportunity to creep up the order and take it with both hands.
Potts in again, the reverse is on, and they'll just get the 1 run, but a clear intent from Somerset that they want to up that run rate, which currently sits at 6.65.
We've seen big scores across the competition, ranging from probably 150 all the way through to 200, so looking a few short here at Somerset.
Potts again, and has been slapped to point.
Well, a diving attempt from Eve Jones, but it does just bounce in front of her. She does well to stop that. You often see sometimes those run past you. It always looks a little bit messy as your teeth are in the line of the ball, but does well to get her hands in front and catch that on the bounce.
Hazel tries to have a big swing through to Threlkeld. 124 for 6.
It's kept very low, which makes me think it might not be a bad total. I think it's going to be difficult to chase. I don't think it's going to be a straightforward run chase, even though it's not the big totals we've seen.
Potts to wrap up her over. It's been pushed away by Hazel just for the single to conclude the penultimate over. 125 for 6 after 19.
Well, the crowd enjoyed that as well. There's a lot in today. Good to see. Blue skies. Temperatures dropped a little. Few on the balcony. It's a great spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
A hotel room and put your beers in the fridge.
It's the dream. It's a pleasant temperature as well, because I think Monday was a little bit too hot. It was quite sticky and humid, but the sun's shining. It's a nice temperature out there.
Well, thanks
today.
to you, Polly, we did find the air conditioning in this room. Otherwise, it would have been a complete hot box in here.
That was, yeah, Scott pumping the hot air through the vents.
We cross to finish from the Anderson end, who's into Hazel. Hazel drives that down the ground. Potts does well to stop the delivery. We'll just get the 1. Looking at Cross's field here, she's got cover out, square, mid-wicket and long on. It'll be Skelton on strike. She's 6 from 5. Skelton hits that off the back foot. It's a good piece of fielding, but poor throw to cut off the single by Lanning. Cross manipulating a field and keeping fine leg in the ring for both Skelton and Hazel. Hazel 14 off 26. Cross in and Hazel drives that down the ground. Can't seem to find a boundary here, can Somerset. 128 for 6, 3 from the last over, 3 balls remaining of the first half.
It's good from Lancashire, not letting Somerset kind of charge at the back end of the innings.
And Cross, ball in hand, takes pace off, and it'll go up and into the deep for a single. You can see it with Cross's hand position as well. She almost wraps her hand round the ball for a slower ball. She's got a couple of options up her sleeve. That one's almost coming from the palm of the hand, so no wrist behind it at all. She again takes pace off, and there's a thick inside edge, and that might race all the way to the boundary. Jones is doing the work, and that will be 4. Bit of fortune there from Hazel. Pace off from Cross, follows Hazel, who creates space, and she just gets the thinnest of edges that takes the ball very fine and down to the boundary ropes. They all count. 133 for 6, last ball of the game. She goes fine again, does Hazel. She brings up another boundary, back to back. Somerset will finish on 137 for 6. And a good 2 boundaries to finish there by Hazel, who's slow starting, but those 2 boundaries have helped Somerset's campaign, brought the score up to 137 for 6. Few thoughts from you, Polly, and then we'll tune off for the second half.
Lancashire requiring 138 to win. Sophie Luff was destructive early on, 42 from 31. Grace Johnson took the wicket of Luff. It was important from Hannah Jones, who finished with figures of 3 for 20 from her 4 overs, but took the wicket of Odgers and Leroyd in the power play to tip things in Lancashire's favour. And some good bowling on debut from Venus Wirapuli, who took the wicket of Niamh Holland. He was 2 from 9. He's a batter who can be powerful and destructive. So positive from Lancashire, but of course they'll have to back it up with the bat in the second innings, chasing 138.
Well, 138 to win. We'll be here for the second half of this game at Emirates Old Trafford. Sun is shining, and we'll be back with you shortly. quicker delivery deceives Lanning. Previous two had that extra bit of flight that Lanning could work with. All up on the offside for Barnes, who's in again, and Lanning sweeps that up and over square leg. Simple shot. Vintage from Lanning. Brings up a second boundary. 12 for no loss.
These are all good early signs from Lanning. We saw her menacing innings on Monday, 81 not out. And I'm sure Lancashire will be hopeful for something similar today.
Change of field there, so long on come into the ring, square leg out. And Lanning goes to sweep that again, but it is given a wide. It's drift down the leg side.
That's to judge it. She's brought back up into the ring.
So the field to Jones is a long on and a deep cow. Ball will be spinning back into Jones, who drives that and beats mid-off. It's a lovely strike, low full toss. And Jones joins the party. Big over for Lancashire, 16 from it. And with that, they're 22 for no loss after the first 2 overs.
Yeah, really hefty over for Lancashire, and precisely how they would have wanted to start this innings. Even though it's a low total, we kind of were thinking maybe it's not going to be as easy as it seems.
I think this power play is so important. If they can take the sting out of the chase here, because those middle overs did look hard to bat. The ball was keeping low, there was a bit of spin on offer. But what you're able to do here is attack the power play and then cruise through the middle. That's what Lancashire will be looking to do.
We've got a change of bowling for Somerset with Erin Vakusic coming into the attack, the Croatian international.
She's got lovely action, swinging the ball in there to Lanning. Haven't seen much of Erin play previously.
No, just 20 years old. Took 2 for 17 against Yorkshire and 3 for 32 against Warwickshire, so has had a great start to this competition.
Croatian international, it's amazing the countries that play cricket.
Defensive from Lanning. There's a slight shout. Rap on the pads, I think.
Don't know if that's intentional, but looked a yard slower. Like she took a pace off that delivery. Erin Vakusic.
Yes, played 4 T20s.
And just uses the face of the back to guide that between point and third. Doesn't overhit it. It's pure placement. And it's pure class.
Meg Lanning 16 from 10. As that's been punished as well, pushed away. It's heading towards the boundary. Will it slow up? And it just about does. Good bit of fielding in pairs, but the Lancashire pair are running well between the wickets. And will run 3 in the end.
Yeah, great running from Lanning and Jones. Another slower delivery by Vakusic. But this time Lanning is set for it and drives it to the offside, but because of the pace of it means they have to do the work in the middle, and ran well to get the 3.
29 without loss has been punched out by Jones. Will be stopped just inside the ring. 30 without loss. Jones now 10 from 6. Lanning 19 from 11. 108 required from 103 balls.
I much prefer seeing Lanning open the batting. 19 from 11 already. It's what she does so well.
Vakusic, and again, It's been slapped away, won't be stopped inside the ring. It will be stopped before the boundary. Annika Leroy doing the fielding. And we'll end with a 2, so 32 without loss after 3 overs.
Well, Vasukic goes slow again there to Lanning, but Lanning just sits back and crunches it through cover and extra. But once again, the ball holds up in the deep, so is able to only get the 2. I don't mind it from. And you'd like to see her bowl that more often, more of a stock ball, whereas there she bowled 3 quick, 3 slow in that opening over.
So Lancashire require 106 to win from 102 balls. Eve Jones 10 from 6, and Meg Lanning 21 from 12 as Alex Griffiths is going to return, changing ends this time from the James Anderson end.
Well, Griffiths staying round to Jones. First over went for 6. Deep cover, square leg in front. She'll be coming round to Jones. Jones goes aerial. I think it's going to be clear of mid-wicket. It does, it drops short. They'll be able to come back for 2. Doesn't time it perfectly, but gets enough on it. How have you found Jones coming out into the blast? It's been a very different approach to a 50-over campaign.
Yeah, definitely. She's so strong in her 50-over campaign, but I like seeing her come into this role in T20 cricket. I've seen her build those bigger innings.
Driven down the ground. And it's a wonderful strike by Jones, playing with such freedom and ease at the moment. 38 for no wicket.
Yeah, that was brilliant from Eve Jones. I love when she just hits straight down the ground. Brilliant shot from her.
Well, she struck at quite a low strike rate in the 50-over cup, so even though she's scored, I think, over 300 runs in the 8 games, she's been quite contained in the way that she plays. So to be striking at 200 here just shows how she's expressing herself. And once again, she goes down as a diving attempt of a catch. It's a wonderful effort at mid-on. That would have been a great catch from Vasukic. We're just going to watch it again here on Lancs TV. But she gets a good strike, does Jones, and diving to her right. It pops in, then pops straight back out of Vakusic's hands.
She's done all the hard work. It will go down as a drop. So Eve Jones dropped on 17 from 9. 39 without loss.
It's such big
over.
Catching opportunities at mid-on and mid-off when they're going strong down the ground. Lanning strikes that up and over mid-off, and it'll race away to the boundary. She's having a great time out here, is Lanning. She brings 25 off 12. And this is why it's so good to watch Meg Lanning open the batting for Lancashire Thunder.
Absolutely class from Meg Lanning, and as you say, she needs to be opening. And this is what she's so good at.
Rather than going in when there's a bit of trouble, she's there to set the tone.
Exactly, and she is setting the tone in quite a way. Today Lancashire just need 95 from 98 balls now. A really favourable equation for them.
Griffiths in, and Lanning snooker cues that into the ground. Taking pace off once again, our Somerset. They'll be pleased to get out of this power play so they can try and regain some control. It's not too dissimilar to Somerset's start. Hannah Jones came in on the 5th over and got back-to-back wickets. They were at 37 before the first wicket came down. Jones, and that's a big strike down the ground. It might plug again. It does, despite a wonderful drive down to long off. It plugs and doesn't race away. So Lancashire 45 for no loss after the first 4 overs.
Of course, the weather's been so nice, but also means it's been so dry as well. So the outfield plugging more often than not. And it's brilliant from Lancashire. Of course, Somerset did have that great start. As you said, Hannah Jones taking those 2 wickets in the over to really change things around. But
Got a few people joining us in the commentary box.
Got some guests. 45 without loss, as I think there's going to be a change of bowling with Chloe Skelton coming into the attack for the first time today from the Brian Staithermen, or in fact, yeah, there is going to be a change of bowling.
Well, Luff looking where to turn, as the bowlers are going at 10s at the moment and Barnes over going for 16, so needing some control, which is what Skelton offers, but off spinner, so not one you often see in the power play, despite control in the hitting arc, but will be turning away from Eve Jones.
Skelton into Jones, who goes aerial. It's going to go over the head of the fielder. Again, we'll slow up in the outfield, but will go for 4 despite a diving effort. And that's another boundary for Lancashire, who are enjoying this second innings. 49 without loss into the 5th over.
Lovely strike by Jones down the ground. I'd almost prefer to see long off back to her than long on at the moment.
Skelton once again, and gets a hand to it. I think maybe a fingertip, which just slows its momentum.
If you look at the way Jones shapes up and hits the ball so well through the covers over long off, she's more likely to hit Skelton over long off.
Jones slaps down the ground. It's really straight this time, and will be another 4. This is superb from Eve Jones, who is cruising along. 25 from 12 at the moment. Lancashire 53 without loss.
That again goes through the hands of Skelton. It's been hit back hard, but if she'd have got something on that could have been Jones dismissed again.
Jones along the ground this time, a more sensible option. Will be no run.
I wonder when Luff is going to change the field, or Skelton here. Out the first 4 deliveries, she's targeted long off.
Skelton in again. Jones has a swipe at it, but will go through to the keeper. And of course, Somerset unbeaten in this tournament so far. Lancashire yet to find a win, so Lancashire in a nice position now, hunting their first win, as that slap down the ground will be cut off inside the ring. There's a shy at the stumps, but Jones will be through safely. And that wraps up the over. 5 overs gone, 54 without loss. Lancashire needing 84 to win from 90 balls.
Need something special here to get back in the game, because Lancashire will be looking to capitalise in this final over of the power play.
And with a pair like Eve Jones and Meg Lanning at the crease, who, I mean, Eve Jones is 26 from 15, Lanning 27 from 15. They're both steaming along quite nicely. A wicket is essential here for Somerset, and it looks like they're going to return to Erin Vakusic, who's going to change ends now, coming from the James Anderson end.
Fielders out are long on and deep mid-wicket. And with that, Eve Jones rocks back and crunches that into the offside.
Ruthless from Jones.
All fielders up on the offside. And she carves that to the boundary rope. Take no prisoners when you're bowling that line. Can't offer any width here, can Vakusic. Bowls that one straighter, and Jones drives that down the ground for a single. Be interesting which two boundary riders they use here. Somerset will be desperate to get out of this power play.
Yeah, it's been pretty difficult for Somerset, who set a below par score, 137. And Lancashire have seen that lower total and are sailing towards it.
Lanning waits for it and punches straight to cover off the back foot. Be no run. Much better off-pace delivery there by Vakusic. Cramped Lanning for room. It's a nice change-up, but if you give any width or space for Lanning to get her hands through, she can hit it wherever she wants. Vakusic slow again, and she manages to get a really fine sweep, but doesn't beat the inner ring for a single. 60 brought up. 2 balls left of this power play. And Lancashire looking in the driving seat now of this game. Vakusic to Jones. Jones defends that to cover for no run.
Yeah, having a look at the current run rate, above 10, and the required run rate around 5.5, so Lancashire very much in control here. 60 without loss.
All of the offside field up to Jones. And with that, Jones hits out into the deep. It could be to hands, and it's dropped by Skelton. Another tough chance, but one that you need to take at this stage of the game. Jones comes back for 2, and that'll be the end of the power play. Somerset needed that opportunity. Watching that back, Jones slog sweeps, big boundaries wide. Skelton diving forward. So Lancashire finished the power play 62 for no runs. They've put themselves right into the driving seat of this game. Lanning 28 off 17, Jones 33 from 19. They've both been at the party. It's been good to watch, hasn't it, Polly?
It really has. 62 without loss is such a different equation to 45 for 2, which is where Somerset were at the end of the power play. And Eve Jones and Meg Lanning have just played with such ease and such freedom. I think as an opening pair, it just really, really works. Eve Jones has been brilliant down the ground. Those shots straight back over the bowler's head have been excellent. And Meg Lanning, of course, just doing Meg Lanning things and being superb. And Eve Holland is going to be the change of bowler from the Brian Statham end, looking to have an impact on this game with the ball. And we'll start with a dot.
Wide delivery to start, but gets away with it.
Yeah, I was waiting for the umpire to call wide, but must have been just on the correct side of the line. Took 4 for against Hampshire and 2 for 23 against Warwickshire earlier in the competition. As that one again is wide, and this time signalled wide by the umpire.
Well, looking at the field, she's got sometimes what we refer as like the top 4. So she's got cover, long on, long off, and cow.
Holland running in, and that's edged away really nicely by Meg Lanning. We've seen her play that shot a couple of times. Just in between.
And guides it through for a boundary.
67 without loss as Holland continues here. Once again, chipped up and over. Finds the same area, this time going more aerial. And that's back-to-back boundaries for Meg Lanning. Lancashire now 71 without loss in the 7th over.
Well, it looks like Holland's intentionally bowling a wide plan here, but without a deep point, it makes it really difficult to bowl that plan against Lanning.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make tons of sense to Lanning if you're not going to have the fielder there. Lanning, this time on the leg side, hoiks it up in the air. They will be cut off just before the boundary, but they're going to push through for 2. Moves Lancashire to 73 without loss. They just need 65 from 80 balls.
Well, change of field here by Holland. She brings cover up and puts square leg in the deep. I think she really needs to make sure her line's right here, because she has been bowling particularly wide. This plan doesn't allow for any width.
Lanning has a swing, it's through to the keeper, so a dot ball for Somerset.
Came through a bit quicker, did that from Niamh Holland.
Somerset going at below half. I mean, Lancashire even going at double the required run rate, over double. Somerset struggling here as this one's been slapped back behind the bowler. There'll just be the 1 run. 74 without loss after 7. 64 runs required from the remaining 78 balls.
Those 2 final deliveries were much better bowled from Niamh Holland with clear plans. She bowled straighter to Lanning, and because of that only went for a single off the last 2 balls after going for 12 for the total over. But yeah, they're having a good day out here. 74 for none after 7 overs. And Somerset turning to more bowlers to see if they can make anything happen here.
Yeah, they're trying everything here, and it's brilliant to see Lancashire in such control after having such a tough start to the campaign, and also losing quite a few key players to international duty. Elsa Lister's last game today before she's off to the World Cup.
Harris into Lanning. Lanning works down the track and guides it to cover, and they run a single comfortably. All the offside hugging the ring, meaning they're able to drop into the ring and run. Change of field to Jones here. This left-hand combination making Somerset run in and out the ring. Fielders changing positions. So both long on, long off in the ring, mid-wicket and square leg. Harris is in, and it's driven up and down the ground to long on for a single. And that's a nice field to Eve Jones by Lola Harris. It's another young Somerset player broken through into the team this year. Will be bowling to Meg Lanning. It's a full toss and it's swept into the deep. We'll just take the single there. The Lancashire team won't have loads of information on Harris, as a bowler has that nice spin between the hands like Venus Wirapuli, and it's driven into mid-wicket. First time we've not seen any boundaries for a while. 4 singles from the over. It feels a little bit of a shame, really. We're loving these back-to-back boundaries, Polly.
Yeah, it was all the entertainment, but Lola Harris has done a good job of just quieting things down a little bit. You know, she can do all of that, but Somerset do need wickets.
Well, she's coming round to Lanning, and she's got the field up, so she's got to bowl straight, in which she does, and that's a wonderful sweep shot. behind square with some venom.
Meg Lanning heard you say that there weren't many boundaries. She was like, all right, okay, we'll get another boundary. And Lancashire are just looking to dominate here.
She knows she's going to bowl straight there. So if she loses a line slightly, she wanted to hit that behind square, but it was the power that she hit it with. And such clarity in the thinking. You can almost read what she's going to do from up here. Harris in, and Lanning goes off the back foot, misses that and hits the air with the bat in frustration. 82 for no loss. Lancashire running away with this game, going at 10s, and only require 56 off the final 72 deliveries.
Yeah, this is looking quite simple for Lancashire. We worried it may not be the easiest run chase despite the below par total that Somerset set. Liv Barnes will be coming back into the attack for Somerset, who didn't have the greatest of first overs. It was tough opening the bowling from the James Anderson end. She'll now switch to the Brian Statham end. Spent most of last season with Kent on loan, where she played all her age group cricket, but now a professional contract with Somerset. This has been punched away by Eve Jones. There's a fumble in the field, and so in the end the Lancashire batters come back for 2.
There's an amazing photo of Barnes. So she's helping with England women duties when they play at Taunton, either last year or the previous year.
Barnes in again, and this has been pushed away on the back foot, no run available.
And they often invite a young player from the county to come and help with drinks. So Barnes has helped with the drinks, been around the environment, which is incredible for her. And then they've won the series, and there's a team photo that the ECB put out on their Instagram.
Barnes in once again, and this will go straight to a fielder, so no run.
And she's front and centre next to the trophy, celebrating. The ECB don't have a clue. I think they ended up taking it down and replacing it like 12 hours later, but it was so great. Why not get in the mixer?
Jones on 37 as she slaps this one away just for a single. I mean, when the opportunity arises, take your chance. I fully respect that from Liv Barnes, and I mean, right place at the right time.
Absolutely. I mean, a young player that will have aspirations to go on for England, but if you've got an opportunity, take it. Like, get front and centre, lift that trophy. So yeah, always think of that whenever she comes on to bowl.
Lanning on strike now on 45, and this is much more controlled from Barnes. I mean, that will confuse cricket historians in 100 years. They'll be looking at this like, who's that England player? We've got no record of her from that time. Barnes to wrap up her over, and that's been absolutely whacked away by Meg Lanning, and that will find the boundary, moves Lanning on to 49 and rockets Lancashire to 89 without loss after 9 overs.
Well, a much better over from Barnes, but drops that one a little short. And Lanning knows exactly where she wants to strike that ball. It's coming straight out of the middle of the bat. Beautiful bat swing. The speed of which a bat comes through the ball as well generates so much power. And the fielder in the deep did not have a chance. Somerset 89, Lancashire 89 for no loss. Somerset looking for something magical here. They need 49 to Lancashire from 66 deliveries. They've had a couple of opportunities from Eve Jones, but they would have been brilliant catches, diving at long off, diving in the out on the boundary, coming in at mid-wicket, but opportunities you need to take to get good batters out. You only get half chances with this calibre of batter. So Skelton coming round to Jones. Jones goes aerial and down the ground. Should just be a simple single. Lanning on 49.
As you say, with the likes of Eve Jones and Meg Lanning, you can't be dropping half chances. You do have to take them, because what happens is they go on and produce performances like this.
Skelton in, and Lanning works that to short fine and will bring up her second 50 for Lancashire Thunder. A big applause from the crowd. It's a brilliant one at that. 50 from 30 deliveries. And once again, Polly, a pleasure to watch Meg Lanning from up here in the commentary box.
It's such a joy to watch her play, and just she makes it look easy. She makes cricket look so easy.
Skelton in and carved out into the covers by Jones. Brings her total up to 40. It's her precision in how she plays cricket and how she picks that fifth fielder. So in men's T20 cricket, you have 5 fielders in the deep. Skelton in, and Lanning looks to split the fielders but finds mid-wicket out in the boundary. And in women's cricket, you only have 4 fielders, so we often say that you find the 5th fielder that isn't there, because you're always looking at where's your other boundary option. Skelton in, and Jones drives that down the ground. Been starved of boundaries of Jones for a few balls, but still going at a good notch. 41 from 28. Lancashire 94 for no wicket.
I just think as well, the calibre of overseas player that Lancashire have been able to attract over the years. We spoke about Alana King earlier. It's just amazing that she's here playing
Skelton
cricket.
in, and slog swept by Lanning into the deep for a single. Doesn't get all of it, and that'll take Lancashire up to 95 for no loss. Just 43 to win from 60 balls. They're cruising it at the moment. Something special required from Somerset, who've had a good start to this campaign. 1 tie, 2 wins. Lancashire yet to get a score or a point on the table, sitting 3rd bottom. So we'll be looking to kickstart their campaign today.
And Erin Vukusic is going to change ends again. Now coming from the Brian Statham end. Her 2 overs have gone for 18, yet to find a wicket. Eve Jones 41 from 28, Meg Lanning on strike 52 from 32. Back-to-back half centuries for Meg Lanning in a Lancashire shirt in this T20 blast. .43 to win from these 10 overs. Vukusic is in, and this has been hoiked in the air. Will drop just short of a fielder, so just the single, but powerful shots as usual from Meg Lanning. 96 without loss. The left-handed Eve Jones now on strike as Vukusic comes around the wicket, and that's been chipped up in the air. Will fall short. It's kind of got to Alex Griffiths. It was one of those coming in from the boundary, a difficult chance, but as we've said time and time again, you have to take those chances, difficult or not. And I think she got all the way. It enabled Eve Jones and Meg Lanning to run through for 2. So Jones retains the strike. This time, trying to turn it round the corner, won't find the run.
Yeah, looking at the difference between Somerset, Surrey, Blaze, who both Surrey and Blaze have got off to a great start in this competition as well. Their fielding has just been outstanding. All those catches would have been taken. Maybe not the one at long off that was diving to the right, but you'd have thought that there'd be some there and thereabouts.
Jones is bowled. Vukusic gets the crucial breakthrough. It's probably a bit too late for Somerset at this stage, but Eve Jones departs for 43 from 30. She's had a brilliant partnership with Meg Lanning. They've put on 98, and it's been really crucial, but Eve Jones does have to go, and Vukusic takes the wicket to give Somerset a slight glimmer of hope. As I say, probably too late at this point.
Well, if you can't rely on your teammates, do it yourself. Vukusic takes the wicket of Eve Jones, bowled a brilliant knock, 43 from 31. And both herself and Lanning have taken the sting off this run chase. And Danny Collins, first game for Lancashire Thunder this year, comes in at 3 and is in a lovely position here to go out there and do a real job for Lancashire. Just 40 to win from 56 balls. Meg Lanning at the other end. You couldn't ask for a better time to come out as a number 3 when you've been waiting for your opportunity all year.
Yeah, this is the ideal scenario. There's not very much pressure on it. Of course, Lancashire want the win, but they're in such a good position. They've got time to get those runs. And to have Meg Lanning at the other end, you can't complain. Lancashire 98 for 1. Vukusic has 2 more deliveries left of her penultimate over. Danny Collins on strike. It's been chipped up in the air, and she'll be out first ball. Erin Vukusic is on a hat-trick, and for Danny Collins, that is so frustrating. Her first opportunity of the season, and Somerset don't fumble that catch this time. Regulation as they come.
Well, that's frustrating for Danny Collins. She had the opportunity to go in and have a bit of a look. There was no scoreboard pressure. Meg Lanning comfortable at the end, 53 from 33 deliveries, but goes for a big shot, ball 1, and Vukusic gets back-to-back wickets. She takes pace off first ball. I think Collins was expecting pace on. But as we said, we haven't seen a lot of Vukusic, so I'd have been having a look first up there.
Definitely, she's got the hat-trick ball coming. And it's Grace Johnson who's come in. She'll face this hat-trick ball. Vukusic 2 for 21 so far, final ball of the over. And it's defended by Grace Johnson. So we'll see out the over. 98 for 2 after 11.
Well, she loves this slower ball, does Vukusic. It's worked wonders against Collins. But the better ball was the ball that bowled Eve Jones, and it was pace on. You think hat-trick ball, you bowl your best ball that's in your armoury. But she's bowled it with control. I think I'd just like to see her bowl her quicker delivery more. And they go to Harris. 98 for 2. Lancashire require 40 off 54 deliveries, and Lanning is on strike. Lanning comes down the track and defends. Yeah, real opportunity for Grace Johnson here. Been a few team changes, and she's come in at 4 as Lanning sweeps that behind square. And there's a fumble out in the deep by Vukusic, but they don't come back for the second. Yeah, 3 changes today. Darcy Carter out for a try series. Seren Smale misses out at, she was batting 4. And then Tara Norris out for Grace Johnson. So some real changes in the attack here to try and change up the attack as Harris is in and Johnson drives down the ground for a single. I really do like Grace Johnson as a cricketer. Broke through into the first team 2 years ago after scoring a big round of applause here. 100 up for Lancashire. 100 for 2. It's Harris into Lanning and it's a thick outside edge. Didn't quite get hold of that sweep shot. Yeah, I think she scored at something silly like, I want to say over 1,000 runs for the academy and took something like 50 plus wickets. So
well, you
she
can't
had
ignore
an
that.
unbelievable season as an 18-year-old in the academy. Harris in and Johnson sweeps that into the deep. Might come back for a second. They do. It's good running. The throw so far out in the deep there, you do have an extra second with the boundary ropes being so deep. Made a debut in Durham, did Johnson 2 years ago. Now as a, I want to say 19 or 20-year-old, she's got mature head on her shoulders. As Johnson is on strike to Harris once again. She advances down and goes up and over long on. It's half a chance, but they'll come back for 2 and look for the third, and they'll take the third on. It's good running by Johnson and Lanning. And it was a good option in the end. Another half chance that Somerset aren't able to take. 106 for 2 at Lancashire after 12.
Yeah, poor fielding again from Somerset. This is a pattern across the game that's really let them down today. And it was already a below par score, but knowing that you've got to be so tight in the field, and yeah, there have been quite a few half chances. Liv Barnes is going to return from the Brian Statham end. She had a decent second over. It was expensive in her first, that skewed her figures a little bit. Not for 23.
Yeah, went for 18 in the power play when Jones and Lanning were firing.
Lancashire need 32 to win. Johnson guides that straight to the fielder, no run on offer. Barnes in again, and that will be stopped. The field, 106 for 2. Again, more controlled from Liv Barnes. 2 dots in a row.
Definitely seeing more in for the women's game now at the Vitality Blast. It's a lovely crowd in at Emirates Old Trafford.
Takes a few steps down the track. It'll be a really quick run. In fact, it's quite safe in the end. Johnson was absolutely powering through to the non-striker's end. 31 to win.
Well, again, sloppy by Somerset. They were the moments at the Oval where Surrey got direct run-outs, didn't they? But a fumble means not even attempted shy at the stump.
A sweep from Lanning. Oh, and that's awful fielding. It's just what we've seen time and time again. That should not have gone for 4 at all. And that's just gifting Lancashire runs.
Oh, you're right, Polly, it is awful. It goes through the hands in the deep. And it's not a nice feeling at all. And the crowd won't make her feel any better for that.
Barnes in again. That's been chipped up in the air over the ring. It will plug in the ground. But this pair are Quick between the wickets.
Barely got any pace to work with at all there, does Lanning, but she knows she's got to go up and over the ring. And generates all the pace through her bat speed.
113 for 2.
Love to see her play golf, but apparently it's not her thing.
Lanning sweeping once again. This time it will be stopped.
Few cheers from the crowd there. Take no prisoners, do they? Particularly for the opposition. Well, 114 for 2 after the 13. Just 24 required of the last 7 overs. So Lancashire well and truly in the driving seat, and it's a pleasure to be up here watching Meg Lanning bat. She's 61 from 39, and Johnson has come out and played a mature knock so far. Eve Jones destructive in the power play. She's released the shackles since moving away from 50 over cricket and has looked in brilliant form in this short format competition. But it will be Harris to continue. And it's pulled out into the deep. She does find a gap there, does Lanning. It doesn't go all the way. Taken all the pace off the attack of Somerset, so really tricky to find a boundary because you're generating the pace through your own bat speed here. So in, and Lanning goes to pull that, and it beats the outside edge. See frustration from Lanning. It's very Joe Root-esque, isn't it? Like how annoyed she gets when she misses a delivery. Yet she's 63 from 41.
Yeah, most people would be beaming, but her standards are so high for herself.
And that is why she is one of the world's best. Because that does not meet her own expectations. Harris, who will be buzzing that she's beaten the outside edge, goes again, and Lanning sweeps this very straight in front of the bat, out into the deep, and they will come back for 2. It's a good piece of running by Johnson, because it's a huge boundary out there, so all the fielders are holding the rope, and with that it means you can take them on for 2. I think if you're 5-10 off, there's more opportunity of cutting out that single, but because of how big the boundaries are here, they're only probably going to go out an extra 5 yards on this left hand side. That huge boundary sizes. Harris in and straight into the covers for no run, and so it's the home team's choice the size of the boundaries that you set. So with Lancashire playing the extra spinner today, that's why they'll have gone big boundary sizes. Harris in and driven down the ground by Lanning. She creates space, moves her feet and tries to manipulate that gap. Brings Johnson on strike for the final delivery. So yeah, you set the boundary sizes between, I think it has to be, say, 55 yards as minimum, and there's a maximum, so you can be as close to the 2 as you like. As Johnson gets a full toss and manages to get that over square leg. She doesn't fully get hold of it, but she's run well and she's come back for the second. Takes the total up to 121 for 2. Just 17 required from the final 6.
Meg Lanning and Grace Johnson don't have to be running all these 2s. They don't need to push between the wickets in the way they're doing it. They've got so much time, but I really like that they're doing it. They're trying to get the game wrapped up quickly. As Scott is doing a lovely interpretive dance to the side of us.
It's hard not to with this music. La la bomba.
17 to win from the final 6 overs.
Oh, a few waves in the crowd. We're doing some panning into the crowd who are loving it today. There's been a few up at the point. I've seen Kate Cross's mum and dad in there. Always nice to see who the parents are watching, because you get the tickets that you've got access to the point and the room behind. It's a beautiful evening. Or is it afternoon? 5 o'clock. It's hard to
The cusp.
The cusp.
Yeah.
4:57. Is that still afternoon?
In winter, I say bedtime, but in summer, I'm like, the day's just starting. It's almost 5 p.m. Erin Vukusic, who has taken the only 2 wickets, is in for a final over. They'll scamper through for 1. It's tight, but they'll make it. 122 for 2, 16 to win. Johnson on 9 and Lanning 67 from 45.
You can see now the fielders out hugging the ropes at cover.
Slap down the ground by Johnson. That will be 4. Just 12 runs to win now.
That's a great strike from Johnson. Vukusic's gone pace off again.
Just muscles it away.
I like that from Johnson. I think you've got to set for the pace off and then react to pace on here, because Vukusic is going for a slower ball more times than not.
12 to win. Vukusic in, and this has been clubbed away. Will just stop shy of the boundary, but they'll stop for 2. That was painful for Vukusic, who takes the ball directly to her knee. She's back up immediately.
Well, that was again well played by Johnson, because it was aerial, but she went into the extra cover region that meant she was never in threat in the inner ring. 2 really good shots back to back from Johnson that brings her up to now 15 from 10. Got picked up by the Trent Rockets in the 100. Amazing for the youngster.
Vukusic continuing, swept by Johnson. We'll just take the 1.
Product of Lancashire's academy system.
9 runs to win.
Some of her fellow teammates still in the academy, so I think it shows how close you are to first team cricket, 100 cricket, through playing academy cricket at the moment.
Lanning slaps this away. Happy to rotate the strike at the moment, with just 8 runs required, 31 balls remaining.
Yeah, Johnson's played such a nice hand here. Like we said when Collins came out to bat, there was no real pressure, but actually what it requires is quite a mature innings to get Lanning on strike, not put the team at risk, and really help with your run rate, your net run rate in the wider competition.
Big shout, and it's given. That was a delayed reaction from the umpire, but that's the 3rd wicket for Erin Vukusic, who has been the only bowler to take wickets for Somerset today. And Johnson does have to go for 16 after a nice little innings alongside Meg Lanning. Lancashire are 3 wickets down, but with just 8 runs to win and 30 balls remaining, still very heavily in their favour.
Well, that's well bowled by Vukusic. Fuller, pace off, and picks up her 3rd of the day. She's bowled well there as Vukusic, bowled in some tricky situations. 3 for 30 off her 4. And it was a good decision watching this back by the umpire. I don't think it was missing anything other than the stumps. Teasing Vukusic there for a 3rd wicket of the day. Shame Johnson wasn't able to see that home, because she'd done the hard yards there, got herself in, built a partnership with Lanning, but skipper Threlkeld comes to the crease. 8 to win, 5 overs left, and it's Niamh Holland with ball in hand, who's played around a lot with the fields across her 3 overs thus far. She's going back to her original plan, which is a deep cover, long off, long on, and a very straight mid-wicket, cow corner. That's where it is. Holland in, and it's pulled out over square leg for a maximum.
First 6 of the day.
It is. It's a big hit as well to that square leg boundary, but Meg Lanning does it with ease. Flick of the wrists, steps across the stumps, and with that comes Sweet Caroline.
We've been saying how big the boundaries are here today, but for Meg Lanning, walk in the park, absolutely hoiked it away and cleared the boundary so simply.
Well, just 2 left with 29 balls remaining, and Lanning steps across again. She gets a thick outside edge. There's a good piece of fielding there. Cut off well. So just 1 remaining for Lancashire to win. Lanning 75 at the other end. She's played a wonderful innings. And it's so good when she works through the gears there, stepping across the stumps again. Holland actually bowled that really nicely, followed her, cramped her for room. I think Lanning wanted to target that leg side once again. So the field is into Threlkeld. Nobody on the boundary, 1 to win. Threlkeld bat high in the air. Holland in and driven into the covers. They take the single, and that is Lancashire's victory. First win of the Vitality Blast campaign for Lancashire, and with that it's a good one. They win in the 15th over. Meg Lanning playing a superb knock, 75 from 48 deliveries. It's a wonderful chase from Lancashire. Up front, brilliant with Eve Jones. She was 43 from 31. Grace Johnson anchored the innings home, 16 from 12. And then Threlkeld, a cheeky 1 not out at the end there to win the game for the team.
Such a needed win for Lancashire, not only in this competition but for the season as a whole. It's been a really tough start in both the One Day Cup and the T20 Blast, but to get such a convincing win today, particularly when the team are missing a couple of players, and knowing that players like Elsa Lister, who for Lancashire fortunately today didn't have to bat, will be away with Scotland. Darcy Carter also away with Scotland. So really, really positive for Lancashire. For Somerset, they've had a great start to this campaign, but things to look at. Fielding was really, really poor today, and that definitely let them down a bit. Of course, the batting wasn't great either. For Lancashire, another positive, Venus Purapuli on debut. So exciting to see the 16-year-old, the youngest player for Lancashire in the professional era, making a debut at Emirates Old Trafford today. So a 7-wicket win for Lancashire Thunder here today against Somerset in the T20 Blast, and a first win in their Blast campaign.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure, Polly Starkey. A much needed win for Lancashire Thunder. They're on the board now, and what a day for Venus Wirapuli. Debut, youngest ever debutant for Lancashire Thunder, takes a wicket on debut and is able to sit back and watch Meg Lanning bring the game home. So a wonderful dressing room to be part of and a brilliant win for Lancashire Thunder. We'll be back with you later today as Lancashire Lightning take on the Leicester Foxes, which is a 6:30 start. So join us later on Lancs TV to watch Lancashire Lightning take on Leicester Foxes after they bounced back after their defeat against Surrey at the Oval on Friday and won on Monday. So they'll be looking for their second victory of this campaign. Thanks for listening.
Well, done today. Match sponsors for the event.
Guys, make way for the designated driver.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
When I was a kid, there was no professional women's cricket. I didn't even think that women could be professional sports people.
Especially early on, it just didn't really seem like there was a career in it.
To support myself around cricket, I had to work at the petrol garage.
I was the only girl, so I stood out.
I'd love for young girls to be able to dream about being an athlete and it to be achievable.
Thanks to the Hilton funding my contract, it's allowed me to play the game that I love all day, every day.
We're like an engine. And
without the Hilton funding, like, we wouldn't be playing cricket every day, training.
Well, we could be, but we wouldn't have any money.
We wouldn't, yeah, true.
Pasta Pringles.
Introducing Lancs TV Plus, dedicated area for members, bringing you closer to the game than ever before. Watch every men's live stream fixture all in one place. Every ball, every moment, live. And this season, don't miss the War of the Roses. Lancashire against Yorkshire, streamed live for the first time ever. Unlock exclusive content you won't see anywhere else, from behind-the-scenes access to mini-documentaries. This is Lancashire like you've never seen it before, all in one place. This is Lancs TV Plus. This is the Red Rose. This is cricket.
Your call is important to us. Do not hang up.
Fumble a bag, now I wanna fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.